Hey, Chris here. I'm here to talk a little bit about some self-defense stuff. I have a lot of friends who end up asking me about what's a nice simple thing that they can learn that they can use right away. And one of the things I think about a lot is not everyone has time to train, not everyone has time to learn really complicated techniques. So I like to think about things in terms of a scale. On one end, you have people who aren't really going to do a lot of training, don't really have a lot of time for anything, very low investment, but they still want some. And then you have folks who are, able to put in a significant amount of time in training, conditioning, etc. And one of the problems is that when people ask for simple advice, sometimes they get something that only makes sense if you can put in the initial time to train or if you can keep up conditioning. And the reality is, a lot of folks are just living a normal civilian life. They're just trying to go to work, handle their business, and if they do any training, it's the most minimal. And other than that, they don't really have time to do much. So, something I like that's very simple that everyone can do is I tell everyone to think about carrying a small flashlight. This is a mini mag light. These things run you 10 to 20 bucks depending on where you go. They're small, they're metal, they work really well. A lot of folks will recommend stuff like pepper spray. It can work. You need to practice with it. You need to be mindful that you don't spray yourself in the face. Um, People end up in the wrong wind. It's a good thing, but you need to know how to use it. You need to be able to pull it out quickly. You need to be able to get the pin out and start spraying. There's some steps you have to take that a lot of people aren't going to have skill. They're not going to be able to do in the middle of a panic. Some folks talk about you should have a small knife. I train a knife art, and knives are very dangerous. They work, but the flip side of it is you also got to do a lot of training with a knife. You have to be able to get it open and get it out while someone's coming at you. That's extra steps. You got to not cut yourself. You got to know what you're doing with the knife. Um, the nice thing about the flashlight is it is a cylinder. All you have to do is grab it. You reach in your pocket, you reach in your bag, you're in the middle of panic, it's very easy to grab. There's no wrong way to grab it. And when you have it, the very simple method is you just hammer. That's all you have to do is you just hammer with it. Doesn't require a lot of training, doesn't require a lot of thought. Um, if you're punching, if you're doing some kind of physical attack, a lot of people break their hands, they break their knuckles, they break their wrist because they don't know how to punch. Even professional people break their arms doing this stuff. You're not going to break the flashlight. The person you're hitting is going to break before the metal breaks, and it's nice and easy. Obviously, there's things that work better. If you do some training, you can actually start doing more stuff with it. But, you know, the fact is, if you don't have anything, you know you're not going to be able to put in time to train and really think about it. This is a good way to go. It's very simple, it's very easy. You can just use it, and it doesn't cost a lot. Um, if you're a marginalized person, you're a person of color, you're queer, a lot of times if you're carrying something that's self defense doesn't get to apply to you. Folks will stop you and suddenly you're the bad guy because you were carrying something that someone else gets to carry and they don't get bothered. This is a flashlight. It's about as reasonable as it gets. This is not a tool that muggers run out with to go hit people upside the head with. It is not something people rob banks with. The only thing that people use this for, something this small, not like one of the big ones, but something this small, is because you're in an emergency and someone's attacking you. You had to grab something and you're using this. Um, this is just a very low commitment thing I recommend to a lot of folks to consider. And you can go up from there. You can do more training. You can play with other types of devices or like having normal things like keys and stuff, but that requires a lot more training. This, very simple, very cheap, easy to go with. You have a flashlight. So, thought I'd give that recommendation.